So the coyote trapping is the November.
Okay,
15th,
first and foremost,
February 28th,
every
and
fur
then
or every animal on the carcass I get,
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
I brush them out. Oh, good, we got a few more folks coming in. Come on in.
Right, yeah.
If you guys will sign in there for me, please, I would appreciate it.
Seasons just because of things
So anyway,
going on.
you want to get all your burrs, your cuckle burrs, your stick kites, whatever, you want all that out of your fur now. I'll clean it now so you don't have to worry about it later. When we get to the fleshing stage of this, if we didn't have all the cuckle burrs out of it and we hit it with a fleshing knife, we would automatically create a hole in our fur. So we want to get it as clean as we possibly can. Any dirt, any mud, anything like that, brush it out. You know, brush your fur backwards. And then bring it back to you. That way you know you're getting everything pretty clean. I will tell you this, this is what I do. Everything you see today, I'm gonna show you what I do. You may find a better way that works for you, okay? I'm just gonna show you the basics on how this works, and you know, I'm 6'1", you know, some of you guys are 5'4", whatever. You know, the height of everything you will have to adjust, you know, just little things like that that's gonna help you handle your fur better and stuff like that. So once I get done skinning with this animal, the fur itself, I will wash all my fur except for bobcats, okay? And you wash this fur in cold water. Do not add anything to it. A lot of guys will add like Dawn dish soap to it, thinking they're getting a good clean fur, and they are. But guess what Dawn dish soap does? It takes the natural oils out of your fur, and it actually makes your fur look dull instead of shine naturally. And your fur buyers are going to be looking at that, you know. So just, you know, little things like that, little reminders.
Now, do you do anything different with the skunk if you're?
Okay, that's the only.
Okay.
Thank you. That's the only one. If you catch a skunk, there's a mixture of 1 quart of peroxide, 1 cup of baking soda, and just a teaspoon of Dawn dish soap, and that helps. It doesn't take the smell completely away, but it sure knocks it back a lot. And with that peroxide and your baking soda, it will really bring out the white in the tail or the stripe of that skunk. And it takes a dull looking animal and just makes it absolutely beautiful.
Can you say that again? 1 teaspoon dish soap.
Yeah, dish soap, and I guess it doesn't have to be Dawn, any dish
Okay,
soap.
okay.
Baking soda,
How much baking soda?
I get at Dollar General, it comes in 1 little box. I'm gonna say
So a whole box?
a little pint box. I mean, it's a
Okay.
small box.
Oh, okay, so just 1 box?
Yeah.
You like put in your refrigerator?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then, yes, that size there, and then a quart of peroxide.
A quart?
Yeah, and it
Okay.
doesn't matter, you know, I think it comes in different strengths or whatnot, but like Dollar General, you can get peroxide for $1 or $1.50, and I think it's only like 3%, something like that. It's not strong at all, so stuff like that.
And you would not want to use a stronger one, right?
I would, no, I don't think you would want to use a stronger
Okay.
one, so, yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to ditch these glasses, and I'm gonna work straight in front of me, and I can't see you like that, so. Okay, so raccoons,
Excuse me,
yes,
if you don't mind, I'm a little hard of hearing, can I get up over there?
absolutely,
Stand right here,
yeah,
like-
we'll squeeze you in
Start
somewhere
saying
there.
no, You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm gaining on that myself, so no worries
Oh,
there.
thank you very much, wow. Do I stink or, I took a bath.
Okay, so coons, possums, skunks. I think that's it. Take the same cut when it comes to the first opening cut, okay? So when I was a kid years ago, many years ago, our opening cut would be from heel down to the vent, okay? From the heel to the vent. So what we didn't know at that time was we were leaving so much of this back leg fur that the fur industry uses on the front side. And we were not only losing length of our coon, we were losing valuable fur, because once it gets to here, it's no good. It has to be on the backside to create the length of that fur. So somewhere around the mid 80s, the fur industry figured out, hey, we're losing inches on coons and stuff, so we changed that opening cut. So now, our opening cut, you start at the heel, and we're going straight across. Just like so. And we're gonna go right back up to the other side of the heel. Just like that. You see that straight cut? Instead of having a V right here, we're straight across. Okay, that's our opening cut. That's the only time I use that knife right there. Then I switch over.
So if it was a male, would you be between the testicles and the rectum?
So yes, pretty much so. So if it's a male, I'm coming down about a ½ inch in front of the testicles,
Okay.
pretty much.
In
Yeah.
front of, okay.
In front of, yeah. Well, I can't sharpen a knife to save my life, so I use replaceable blades. I do a lot of work with Weeby knives and Weeby Trapline Adventures, and I've just been fortunate enough to build those relationships where I got a pretty much, I never run out. So, but I would recommend a replaceable knife like that. Whether that's, like I said, I use the Weeby brand. I think Havlin makes a brand. There's other names out there, but Weeby's the one that sponsors me, so that's the folks I go with. So, okay, so my next cut is going to be at the vent. I'm going to be at the top of the vent right here, and I'm shooting straight up, going around the vent, just like so. So what's going to happen when I separate here, I'm going to have a little triangle here once we get done here. And we will trim this little piece off, but it's an important piece. So I'll show you what we're going to do. Oh, I know something I left in the other room I got to get here shortly. Okay, at that point, I'm just working around the leg. I know, sorry guys, it's hard to see. I'm going to try to keep moving around in a circle here so everybody can see what's going on. And I will say with these replaceable blades, you got to be careful because sometimes they're almost too sharp. And if you will pull on that, it'll kind of tell you where to cut. And the best part about this is, don't cut down. If you cut down, you're going to end up cutting into your fur. If you will cut in, I don't care how much of the meat of that coon I cut, or how much meat I leave on that fur. We're going to flesh it here in a little bit, and all that's coming off. So don't worry about that. And I'm just going to turn around here and do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Nathan, where are you at?
Here.
There you are. How many did you skin this time? Raccoons?
In season?
Yeah,
Probably about 20.
good for you. You got better as your 20th coon was probably better than your first coon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Easier, so it takes practice, doesn't it? So, okay, I will be right back. Actually, there's a steel over there. Can I borrow that? I promise I'm going to clean it. Does anybody know what a steel is when I say sharpening tool? Right here.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna use that one. That was a very nice. good shape.
It's mine, you can use it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This little steel right here will save your hands a lot. I recommend it. So I've opened this leg up on this coon now. Okay. So I'm gonna take this steel and I'm gonna push it up. And I've gone through the leg right there. Let me back up. I've gone under the leg right there is what I've done, okay? And I'm going to pull straight down. Is that going to hold up for me? I hope it is. So I've opened that up right there just like that, okay? That saves your hands, okay? That's all I'm trying to do ergonomically is save the dexterity of my hands because the fur is cold usually when you're putting it up or working with it. And your hands can go downhill pretty darn fast. So the less you use your hands, the better you're going to be.
Another thing that works really well for that are those big long nails.
A nail will work.
Yeah.
Absolutely will.
Like a railroad spike.
And then I'm just coming in here And I'm gonna free that leg just like that. And that whole backside's freed up now. All right, I need another glove. I've already put a hole in this glove. So now we're gonna do the exact same thing to the other side. And I guess I failed to ask an important question. Has anybody ever skinned animals before?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Many,
everybody,
many years ago,
so everybody's got
when
a,
I was a kid, you know.
yeah. So somewhat of an idea of what we're doing. Has either seen this before or, have a basic idea of what we're doing. Okay, I'm just gonna open this up just a little bit more here on the back side, and we're gonna do the same thing with our steel. I think I should have probably went to the other one. Okay, same thing. I'm just running this steel up through that leg right there, underneath that leg, and I'm pulling down, and I'm using my body weight.
Did you make an incision to slide that through, or does it go through pretty
No,
easily?
it goes through pretty easy.
Okay.
Once you have a couple inches of slack here, you can just slide that under that leg and it'll go.
Okay.
You don't have to make an incision or anything like that.
Perfect.
Does it damage the hide at all?
Does not damage the hide at all. No, who said that? Okay, yeah, no, it does not. Again, we may leave a little meat or a little bit of fat on it, but we're gonna take care of that part of it when we get to fleshing.
If you use like channel lock clamps, that would damage the fur, correct?
You know, I don't think so. I've actually seen guys do that.
I did that on my first one, but not on my second one because I didn't know.
Now, the guys that I've seen do that will grind off half the teeth.
Okay.
Where there's still something to grip, but the other half's pretty smooth, you know, where it's not,
That was easy.
it's not hard.
Easier.
Yes.
Easier.
And that's the other thing, the warmer you can, the quicker you can get to skinning your animals while they're warm, the better, the quicker or the easier it's gonna skin as well, so. Okay, we've cleared the back legs now.
Quick question,
Sure.
just a curious kind of thing.
Yep,
All these, all these animals,
yep.
when did you collect them and when were they laid out?
Okay, so for the most part, a lot of the fur you see behind you, especially the coons, there's not a lot of value to them. Especially a lot of your small ones were caught earlier in the season, so we save them for this kind of seminar.
In the morgue?
In the morgue, yes. So most of these coons you see were caught in beaver traps that were drowned.
Okay,
So, you know, we're trappers, we're trying to catch beaver. We hope we're catching beaver. We can't keep the coons or the possums and stuff out of our sets. You know, you just don't know what you're gonna catch. You know?
Right.
So, but that's where these come from.
you had a trapping, presentation about 3 or 4 months ago.
Correct.
2 or 3 months ago.
We have one in
Yeah,
October and one in March.
I
every year.
missed, oh, you did have one in March?
Yeah.
I didn't even get a notification on that.
Well, I say it's here, is the one in March.
Yeah.
The one in October is out in Andy Dalton, or out at,
Odor, or
no,
Talbot.
Talbot, thank you,
Yeah.
out of Talbot, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not real good with this,
You know, you and me both.
you go to look for something, it's there, and then all of a sudden you can't ever find it
Yeah.
again, and, you
Yeah.
know, so.
Okay, so I want to save my hands again. So if I can, same thing. I'm going to push this steel through the backside of that tail right there, just like that, okay? Again, I'm going to push down. And all I'm doing is I freed this membrane on the lower back at the base of the tail, and it's giving me a little bit of the tailbone to work with now. So that's where I'm at there. So
And you did not cut your tail, correct?
I did not cut the tail. We're going to leave the tailbone with the animal. We're not going to make a cut. So the next cut I am going to make.
This steel is, I mean, like I say, I don't know if anybody else here has ever done any skinning, but when I did it many years ago, we didn't. That's a new technique.
Correct, yeah, yeah. Okay, so if you look at a tailbone of any animal, there's a channel right down the middle, right there, okay? Right down the middle. So I put my knife blade right there, and I will come down and I will cut a little bit of that fur and make an incision right there. And if that's not enough, when I pull this tail, that channel's still there. I can go down a little bit farther and pull down a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna go around the tail here, loosen up that fat membrane right there, and then I'm gonna get my tail puller.
Why would you leave the tailbone?
We're not, we're about to take that out right now. So this is my tail stripper right here. I'm gonna connect it to the tail, and I wish this thing was about 2 feet taller, I really do. It's a little bit harder on me. Put your other hand at the base of the tail so you don't pull your tail off. So left hand here, right hand here, and pull down. And there's our tail. We leave the tail with the carcass, with the animal. Okay, at that point, so I don't forget, you want to zip that tail. When I say zip that tail, you want to open that tail up. So when we put it on a board and we flush it, we get some of this fat off of here, okay? If you do not open that up and allow it to dry, it will rot and your tail will fall off. So there's no value to this tail when you go to sell your fur, but presentation wise, it sure looks a whole lot better if all your anemones are attached, to your fur. Now, you will catch coons that fight and that don't even have a tail. They have a little stub. It doesn't hurt the value of your fur. Again, it's just the pretty presentation of the fur when you go to sell it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever cut the tail first before you pull it off, or do you always pull it
No,
off and then cut it?
I always leave it, yeah. Are you talking about cut the tail off and then?
No, like where you just zip it, like, do you ever do that cut first and then pull it off?
You can, if you want to, yes. But this part's always worked for me doing it that way. But yes, you absolutely can. Yeah.
We did some that way, Matt, and we ended up breaking the zippers because they get hung up on the tail.
Oh, okay,
And the
good to know.
The
Yeah.
zippers break.
Okay, yeah. Well, and your zippers are,
Yeah.
they're a little piece of plastic,
I've never used one of those, I just always use a knife. And
Okay.
I cut it down first,
Yeah.
and pull it off.
I think these are like $2 or $3, at your rendezvous and stuff. And I buy 5 or 6 every year, just because I lose them, and stuff like that. So
Pulling the tail bone out first leaves you a hole down through that tail to make it easier for the zipper to go down.
Okay.
yeah, that
You guys
too.
are fighting it the whole time, but I tried it both ways, yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I will take a rag and I will try to pull as much as I can. The less you have your knife on this fur, the less chances you're gonna put holes in fur, okay? And some of you here when I said this earlier, but guys, we're gonna put holes in fur today. Don't worry about it. We're here to learn, okay? I don't, it's no big deal. We're not hurting anything. So I always grab a rag to give me a grip, and I'm pushing and pulling down. Oh, that's gonna open up. A little frozen spot right there, so we're gonna have to leave that behind. Hopefully that doesn't open up anymore. See if I can get away with pulling that and not tearing anymore. If not, I'll have to cut the rest of the way.
Matt, I made myself a skinning machine. I'm a glutton for punishment. It works pretty well.
I was gonna say, anything you can do to save yourself, save your hands and your shoulders and elbows, I would recommend it. Okay. Good. We're gonna get away from not tearing that too much. Okay, so I don't know that this will allow me to do this, but I'm gonna try it. Again, I'm all about pulling as much as I can and not cutting. So I'm gonna use my body weight here, and I'm just gonna back up. I'm just gonna lean, and I'm gonna let that pull as much of that off the carcass as I can. And be very careful there without that coming loose and busting me in the head. Okay, so we're at the base of the skull pretty much. We've cleared the shoulders. We've got 2 front legs here. So you can either take your thumb and make a hole and come through there on the leg and pull down, or you can take your steel and push through and pull and push down. We're just there to clear that leg. Cut that there and open that up. Got that leg out. We got that leg out. Okay, so we're free and clear there. I will always give it another tug right here, and usually it'll come a little bit. We're gonna take our time here. So again, as you pull your fur, if you'll watch the membrane, it'll tell you where to cut. See as I'm pulling, see that? And then as I cut at that location, you can see the fur give with it. I'm just gonna slow it around here. Okay. Again, you can see the membrane right there as I'm pulling it. Okay, this gets, I don't want to say gets complicated, but sometimes it's a guessing game because a lot of these coons and possums have so much fat on them, you may have trouble finding your earbuds to cut through, okay? So here I am, I'm running right down the spine, I'm in the middle of my head. There's an ear right there. Can you see that white cartilage? Right there. And then there's an ear right here on this side. See the cartilage, see the little bump and the cartilage right there. So we're gonna cut those ears. Did you see that, bud? See that little bump
Oh,
right
yeah,
there?
yep.
And the cartilage,
Gotcha.
that's an ear. Same way on that side right there. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna take my knife and I'm cutting straight in. And there's that ear, okay? We've released that ear now. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. There's our bump. We're gonna go in and we've cleared that ear now. Just like so, okay? And then just now I'm dealing with skull, okay? So, and the only reason I bring that up is I try not to cut too deep so I don't dull my knife blade too much here, okay? So I'm just kind of gently taking my time through here. And we're about to come to the eyeball.
So what you're saying is you don't want to go down to the skull bone, correct?
It won't hurt a thing.
But I
It
mean-
just keep you from resharpening your knife and
That's-
stuff, basically.
yeah,
Just,
that-
yeah.
That was the point of the
Yes,
question.
yes,
Right.
yes. Okay, so here's an eyeball on my left, and here's an eyeball on my right. Okay, now can you see the white shadowy area right there? The dark area? That's the eye, right there. That's the eye right there on this side. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my knife and I'm gonna go straight in at first. The importance of the rag. Look what I'm doing. I'm using my thumb to keep pressure right there. So as I cut, it helps it separate, okay? So there's our eye on that side. Got that one clear. Here's our eye on this side. Again, I'm going straight in. Like so. Okay, here's important. If you mess up anything from the skull down, you haven't hurt yourself. There is no value in the head of a raccoon or any other animal, okay? So if you put a hole in the fur up here, don't worry about it. It means nothing. The fur business does not even process that fur unless they're making a coonskin hat or something of that nature, okay? So here's a little trick for you. I'll show you guys here first. I've got the eye cleared. I'm right there. Now watch, I'm changing the angle of my knife and I'm coming down towards the nose. That way I get that whole eye out of there and it does not leave a big hole. Okay, I'm gonna clear that right there. I'm gonna change the angle of my blade and I'm coming down towards the nose right there. Okay, see how the eye is completely clear now? And then we're just gonna work our way down. There's the lip. And again, you can really tell, it's really gonna tell you where to cut now. Oh, oh, oh. That's,
Is he okay?